Hey everyone, I'm TLR Osborne 171, and just like I said, I'm doing Umarak the Hunter and how to sheathe his bow and sword. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. So here is Umarak's bow and sword, and also the extra parts that make up the shadow trap if you decide to build it. So I'm just going to include those in the video, just because they are sitting around and they're not supposed to be on the figure. But anyway, so here's how you take apart the sword. You can take apart the bow and possibly flip the connection, sort of like that. And I'll just connect it anyway, just so you see. You can flip the connection like that to get a more compact look. And that can do it for you. So, yeah. And by looking at the timeline, or the time clock of this video, you can tell that this is going to be a long video because there are so many different methods to how you can actually sheathe Umarak's weapons. So, here's how you can take it apart. You can flip those if you want, you don't have to, but it does make it a little more compact in some positions and makes it a little easier for posing every now and then. To sheathe Umarak's sword, just stick the bottom handle in there and the sword in there. And you're done. When it comes to Umarak's bow, you actually have a few options. Now, you can take the piece that bends the shadow trap, or this, I don't know what they're called, but these pieces, and stick it onto Umarak's back, onto the gray double long pin axle. Then you just stick the bow on the other end. And now you also get a range of motion from the bow, so you can have it one-sided or not. It looks fine, it's nice and flush. Now, the other option you have, you can take off the those pieces, and then like on Liwa, you can pull out the 3 long pin, flip it around, and stick it in reversed. Then you can just stick the bow on like that. Now the handle of the bow actually has to stick out because it will not sit on the pin because of the handle and this gray pin axle. Now left over you have these pieces, which you could just stick onto the bow like that. Or you could, well, yeah, you can stick that in there, and you can take this eyeball piece for the shadow trap and stick it on his leg. Now, I suggest you stick it on this leg because the clip for the extra ammo is stored here, as well as the sword, and they cover it up quite nicely. It's nice and flush, as well as the shell piece covers it up, sorta, and you don't even notice it half the time, really. And yeah, he looks good. Now, I'd like to show another way you can store these ratchet pieces. Now I remember what it's called, ratchet. The ratchet pieces on his body, because they are just a little inconvenient. So here I've taken off Umarak's shadow trap shoulder armor, as well as his chest plate, and we have the whole front body exposed. Now, the main area I want to get to is this unity piece and this axle. Now, by pushing out the axle simply with the handle of the bow, by just disconnecting it, you can get one length pushed out. Now, you can put the shadow trap ratchet on there by just sticking it on, bending it, because this hard deconnect can get in the way, and just simply push it on. And now it's actually stored quite nicely. Now if you put the shadow trap pauldron back on, it hides it completely. And if I put the chest armor on, it also doesn't interfere with the movement of the shoulder pauldrons, the shadow trap shoulder pauldrons, and the chest armor. So yeah, that's also another option you can use. And it sits quite flush. You only notice it from one angle, but you know what, if you flipped it around, the dark gray would sort of match with the gunmetal, and it'd hide itself quite nicely. And then you wouldn't have to worry about losing these pieces. Now, all you have to do afterwards is simply attach the bow back together once you're done doing that. And that is it. That is basically how to sheath everything on him. With Umarak's weapons sheathed, he actually gets a lot more expression. And I love it. I love having this guy not only use his bow, his sword, but also hand-to-hand combat. And I think that is one of the coolest things about this guy. He is a hunter. And the way he is perceived, he will do anything to get the task done. And you can get him in some pretty cool poses, like this, or even this. If you don't like having the pieces that make up the shadow trap on Umarak himself, put him in a little baggie. That's what I do with all my extra studs. And yeah, do that. You can do that, not have to worry about losing pieces and not enjoying the figure to the fullest. And if not, use those pieces to make a shadow trap on Umarak the Destroyer. Just because I said it, here is the shadow trap made off Umarak the Destroyer using the 2 extra parts off Umarak the Hunter, and there's really no difference off the shadow trap of Umarak the Hunter. It's just a leg change color from this to that leg. It's nothing major, but you know what, it's still cool. And so that is how to sheath Umarak the Hunter's weapons. I'm Taylor Osborne 171. Bye bye.